Hi, I'm Margaret and welcome back to the Gardening Me. I garden in Southern Ontario, Canada, Zone 5B, and today I thought would be a good time to give a little tiny bit of a tour on the raised bed area that I just finished last fall. Well, I didn't actually finish it. That's the wrong word. I started it last year. I put in almost all of the raised beds. There's going to be 12 in total, and 11 of them were able to be put in last summer, including filling them, that kind of thing, and as well as mulching the area, most of the area where the raised beds are. And then last fall, I put in a picket fence. And in this area previously, for the last, I believe it was 2011, so 11 years ago is when I started this garden, or this raised bed area. And I basically put in chicken wire to keep the rabbits out. There was one year where I had rampant rabbits. I think the first year I gardened here it was okay, but the next year in the spring, the rabbits found it. They went crazy in this area, and it was dismal. And I spent all season scrambling to figure out what to do. And really the only thing I could do at that point was put up some ramshackle chicken wire contraption around. At the time it was 4 raised beds. And it did me well for a couple of years. And then I expanded the garden a little bit. I went from 4 raised beds to 8 raised beds, expanded the chicken wire fence, and it's literally been over the years, I've little by little expanded it a little bit more, and I believe it was 2019, 2020. At that point, I realized I'm really quite satisfied with the area that I have in this section. And the great thing about the chicken wire is it's easily adjustable. You don't like it in one spot, you want to expand or contract your raised bed area, it's super easy to do, and obviously it's an economical choice as well. So I decided to do that route and experiment with how big I wanted this area to be before I bit the bullet and put in permanent fencing, which I did last fall. In fact, this fencing, the picket fencing that I'll be showing you in a bit, that was finished just before Christmas. I think it was maybe a couple of weeks or the week before Christmas, something like that is when it finally went in. So there is a lot of cleanup. I haven't started yet. Today there's a tiny little bit of nip in the air, but overall it's not bad. The weather, we're finally warming up to the point where I can start really getting some work done out here as well. And it's dried up a bit too. I didn't want to be working, especially in the areas that had no mulch, which is really the areas that need the most amount of work, that there is a lot of construction debris and things like that that I have to clear out. Those areas were super muddy. So this really now in the coming week is going to be the first opportunity I'm going to have of actually getting in and getting all these areas more or less tidied up. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to be tidied up 100%, but it will be more or less there. There's a lot of work yet to finish in this area. The picket fence I put in, while it will keep larger rabbits out, it will not keep the smaller guys out, the teeny tiny babies. So I will be adding some hardware cloth to the inside of the picket fence, probably within the next few weeks. I've ordered it, but I'm still waiting for the hardware cloth to come in. Yeah, so that's going to be going on the picket fence, on the inside of the picket fence. And also the area around here is really not level. And I didn't even realize this until they started doing the fence and they started showing me, whoa, you got big slopes going up, down, all around. It was a little bit crazy. So they essentially built the fence level to the ground with several big slopes, because our property does basically slope towards the street. That's the general slope, but then within that general slope there's a lot of ups and downs. There is a ton of filling in I'm going to have to do underneath the fence in order to bring up the soil level so that it's more or less right at the bottom of the picket fence. And I will be also reinforcing the bottom of the picket fence with hardware cloth to keep those bunnies out. I think that's about all the preamble I wanted to do. So why don't I just turn this around and I'll go outside and we can walk into this raised bed area and you can see what I'm talking about, warts and all, because quite frankly, like I said, this has been sitting here since the construction was finished all winter. I haven't touched it. So such is life, right? Because that's what life is. Okay, so this is the area that the raised beds are in. There's the house. And so this is actually our side yard. We are on a pie-shaped lot. So the huge part of the lot is actually at the front of the house and it goes towards much more narrow area at the back. So the side yard was, as you can see, pretty huge. And we decided to make the best use of it because as well, we are on a septic system out here, and the nicest, flattest area of our backyard, right in the middle of our backyard, is a septic drain field. So you obviously can't use that for vegetable gardening or pretty much anything other than grass. So this was the next best option. So here's the picket fence we put in. The fence is approximately just under 3 feet high. It's about 33, 34 inches high, and the slats are spaced so that there's a 2-inch gap in between. As I said, big rabbits won't be able to get through that, but little rabbits, absolutely. They did angle the fence down, as you can see, going towards the front, but the caps are just enormous. I'm not overly concerned because there's a lot of backfill that needs to be done as well. From when they dug up the posts, there was a lot of soil that came out, a lot of rocks. We are in an extremely rocky area. We actually have several gravel pits near us. This here is one of the gates, and what I did is so that we have easy access. This is a traditional size gate. I think it's about 4 feet across. But then in addition to that, I had them add in 2 more gates. There's one right here, and this opens, it's a double gate, and it opens nice and wide. And then you have one more 10-foot panel or 12-foot panel. I can't remember how long those are. And here is another gate as well, a double gate. So giving me easy access here when I have to add compost, mulch, and just back and forth, that kind of thing. So let's go back to the front and let's go in and see what we have. Here, I'm already getting ready for the drip irrigation. I have to install new drip irrigation to the entire area in all the raised beds. And so I purchased the poly. I'm obviously concerned about shortages. The place I had planned to purchase the poly from didn't have any left, and they had no delivery date for it. So I was able to get it somewhere else, and it sits here and waits until I'm ready for that. So here we are. Our shed is right here. The building there is our neighbor's garage. So our shed actually used to be here where this big old pile of soil is. That's where the shed was. And I thought, you know what? We have the opportunity now. And so we decided to move it about, 15, 20 feet over, just to give me that little tiny bit of extra space. And here is the pile of rocks. Yeah, this is going to take some muscle. A pile of rocks and a huge pile of soil to take care of. The soil I'm just going to use to fill in. You can see the gap here as well underneath here. I'm going to use the soil to fill in a lot of these gaps, and then the rocks, I'm actually just going to do the same thing we've done in the past, which has worked out really well, is I basically put them on our driveway, put it on Facebook Marketplace and say, hey, we got a pile of rocks here. Anyone wants to grab them for free, be our guest. And that's what they do. And it's awesome. We don't have to really deal with them past putting it near the driveway. These plants here, well, These are a few shrubs that I picked up last year. I put them in a couple of beds, and there's a bunch of Arborvitae there and another tiny one there. I cannot recall for the life of me what any of these are called right now, but I do have little tags sticking in there so that I know what they are when I go to dig them up and replant them. I should be doing that very soon. And I have another pile here. So I basically healed in all of these because I bought them at the end of the season, didn't have time to plant them, and several of them actually are going in where the fence went in. So I couldn't plant them anyhow, but I just wanted to make sure I had them. Okay, I'm just going to start here. I kind of started going all over the place, so let's just get the lay of the land. The front entrance here is here, the smaller gate, which is the quote-unquote entrance gate. And then here, there are 3 raised beds. All of the beds are the same size. They're all 8 by 4. And I have 3 here, then 2, then 1, and so forth, all the way down. There are 11 here right now. And right here, there's this tiny little bed here. This is my old, actually, this is the edge of this bed on the side that I'm on right now. That's where the old raised bed area ended. The chicken wire went actually up to the edge of that raised bed. That bed has to be removed, and in this area just back here is where, once this bed is removed and the rubble is removed, that's down there. Once these are removed, the last raised bed is going to go in there, and it's going to have to be filled and so forth. And there is one shrub that's in the way that I have to deal with sooner rather than later, and it is this shrub here, which is a Rose of Sharon, purple pillar. There you go. So that's going to have to be dug up and moved. I'm still not 100% sure where I'm putting that, but it's on the list. So as you can see, I did 0 cleanup for this video because, quite frankly, such is life. Everything's a mess here. You know, after the construction in December, the last thing I'm going to be doing is cleaning anything up. So I have a few containers here that I'm trying winter sowing with. They didn't work out that well last year, but you know what? Try again until you say, yeah, this isn't for me, right? Now here is a perennial border here. There's a lot of daffodils and tulips coming up, and in the middle there with the black, that's actually a bird bath. So this area, you see where the fence is now, and there's grass in between there. We didn't go all the way to the property line when we had chicken wire, but when we did put up proper fencing, we did decide to go all the way to the property line. And this is the area here that we are left with, and all of this is going to be sheet mulched. And in fact, most of these trees, at least 2 of them anyway, these arbs here, we are going to move them. We're going to dig them up and move them so that they are further back. Probably not all 4 of them, but at least 2 of them is my thought. And like I said, all this area is going to be sheet mulched. We have to, once again, rocks and rocks and rocks. And that will be very shortly. We already have the mulch, as I showed, I think in my last video or 2 videos ago, on the driveway. So very excited to get this done. I've been working on this area quite a lot over the last couple of years. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this rock border edge. I mainly did that in order to delineate where the raised bed area finished and where the border, the perennial border, started. I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep it or not. That's still up in the air. But at this point, it's staying. And we have one of my favorite roses here. This is I just took away the straw. I often pile up straw around it over the winter because I'm paranoid that it's not going to come through the winter, and I just want to get it nice and big. And this is a David Austin rose, and the variety is Crown Princess Margareta. And I have cleaned up this border. I cut everything back about a week ago. on this corner here, I have a Nanking cherry that the rabbits just did a number on. You see all, I'm not sure if you can see how many of those twigs or branches, how many of the branches here are just gnawed right off. It never even occurred to me to protect it. I have another one just about 20 feet from here, but it's close to the street, so the rabbits don't really go anywhere near the street, generally speaking, so those are usually safe. But this one, it won't be an issue after this year, because I will be doing that hardware cloth and the fence will be reinforced, so hopefully this coming winter that won't be an issue. But that is just incredibly sad. Oh, you always see garbage. I don't know about you, but garbage just ends up showing up in the beds in the spring. So nothing's really happening other than a bunch of bulbs are coming up and the lemony lace elderberry is coming up. But in another few weeks, this will be popping and exploding. I have so many wonderful perennials. Oh, the other thing the rabbits have decimated. Oh, this is just so sad. So sad. This is a carex. This is Everlime. I love carex, and I have several in this area. I think all of them are from the Ever fill in the blank series. So Everlime, Evergold, I don't know. I can't even think of the other ones, but I have several, and the rabbits just go to town on them. Here's another one right here. And I didn't cut this back. This is not me. I did not cut this back. This is all, this is Evercream. This is all rabbits. Oh, what else? Oh, the sedums. Look at these little babies. They're coming up. They're coming up. And there's Helenium. This was a find at a garden center. I'd never grown it before. I grabbed it and I loved it. In the last couple of years, it's been fantastic. And these guys, these are actually, so you see this tree here. This is a white pine, I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe it's a particular cultivar or something, but as far as I know, it's just a white pine. Well, every once in a while I find these seedlings growing in the ground. And so I decided one year to pot one up. And there you go. That's one. Here's another. And in fact, I think both of these were in the ground last year, and because I knew we were doing the fence, I decided to put them in pots. I didn't want them to get trampled or whatever, but I think I'm just going to leave them there for this season anyway and see how it goes. Oh, and here we have the remnants of the snowfall, the last snowfall, which was only yesterday. We had, what, a few inches, maybe 6 inches or so of snow on the ground, maybe even more yesterday. So yeah, that's the last of it, hopefully. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it made sense. I guess as we see this garden more throughout the season, it'll make better sense. Like I said, sometimes I get so enthusiastic when I'm talking about things. I either forget to mention other things, or I just assume that what I'm seeing and what I know, everyone else is seeing and they know as well. I don't know. Anyway, this will not be the end of it when it comes to tours. I will definitely be getting some video as I'm cleaning all this up. There is a lot of cleanup to get done. This is, yeah, forget the treadmill. This is going to be my exercise for the next few weeks. So anyhow, thank you so much for watching this tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.